Welcome back to the Ball and Blitz podcast, joined by the man, Jaden Siegert.
How's it
How you
going?
doing today, man? How's your week been?
Oh, it's been fantastic. A lot of fun stuff that we're going to talk about today. Some more exciting news regarding I guess, just break it in, the coaching carousel going on.
hmm This is always a fun time of year. I think this year in particular is more fun just because, and I don't know like the math behind it, but it feels like there's more head coach openings now than I've ever seen. I mean, definitely more in the last couple of years.
So
You
what is
know,
it now? Eight or
any
nine?
given, what's that?
What is it, like eight or nine? Something like
Eight
that?
or nine. The number just like keeps going up. I'd assume we're done now, but
Yeah.
like I didn't think McDermott was going to get fired. Then he did. I didn't think Tomlin would step down, and then he did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a fun cycle, and it just opens up a bunch of different like possibilities because I also think along with all these guys getting fired, it's kind of like a big culmination of a new era, if you will, of we're transitioning from these legends, these first ballot Hall of Fame coaches. I'm talking John Harbaugh, talking Tomlin. Like in a couple years, we're going to be talking about Andy Reid. These guys that have created legacies. They've built careers. They're going to be replaced, and I think it's super cool that we're transitioning into this new era. It's going to be really fun, but
hmm
we got a fun episode planned today. We're going to talk about the coaches that were hired, what we think about them, and then we'll just discuss some openings. We have a big list of potential guys that could get hired, and literally minutes before recording this, Mike McDaniels was hired
Yep.
as the LA Chargers offensive coordinator. So we'll definitely talk about that. Where do you want to start? I mean, we got John Harbaugh to the Giants. We have Jeff Hafley to Miami. We have Robert Saleh to Tennessee, and we have Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta. So
Should we go for start from the least inspiring and go to the most inspiring, or reverse order?
I'm
Or?
cool. I'm cool with doing that. I'm cool with starting worst to first.
And I think I don't know how you think about it, but I think pretty easily the least inspiring of the four so far is 100% Jeff Hafley to Miami. But if you have
Really.
any,
So
yeah,
I
if you think it's something else, we can
I
talk
was
about
going
that
to
first.
lean. I was going to lean Harbaugh,
Okay.
just for the age factor. But I want to hear why you say that because I was kind of thinking about it today, and I was having a hard time deciphering what put him above other candidates because I feel like when I look at Green Bay's defense, I think it's a I don't want to say it's more you just have a bunch of awesome players because I don't think that is the case. I think you have some really good players and I think they fit what Hafley does schematically really well and it helps them stand out. But it's
Mhm.
hard to tell, you're the Packers fan, so enlighten me on this why you think this is an uninspiring hire.
So I really wanted Hafley to stay. I didn't want him to get a head coaching job because I do think he's a very good defensive coordinator.
Right.
His first year in Green Bay, he came in. We were, I mean, consistently year in and year out, a bottom half defense. I mean, we had talented guys too on the defense for a long time. Like pre ACL tear, Rashawn Gary was very good. You had the Smith brothers. You had Jair Alexander in the secondary. You had good athletes in the secondary. Like they had guys, and they just could never put it together with their
Mhm.
defense coordinators prior. And he came in his first year with probably the least talented defensive roster Green Bay had had in quite some time, and put together a top half defense. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, last year they didn't get much of anything from any of the pass rushers. They couldn't generate pass rush.
Mhm.
Kenny Clark had his worst year as a pro by quite a bit,
Mhm.
and I mean, you had guys in the secondary that just should not have been on a football field, and I mean, he made it work. He produced a top half offense, got to the playoffs, and I mean, got bounced by Philadelphia because I mean they were just going to beat everybody that year. But
Yeah.
the reason I think it's uninspiring is because I mean, Micah Parsons is Micah Parsons, so I'm not going to sit here and dunk on Hafley and say, "Oh, Green Bay defense being horrible as soon as Parsons gets hurt, that's just bad schematics." I don't think so. I think he actually called a couple of good games, specifically against the Bears, where he completely shut down the scripted drives against Chicago in both games without Micah Parsons, and then the second half kind of got away from him in both of them.
Yeah.
But it just it he's a good coordinator, but I don't get it for Miami. Like
Yeah, I can
Jeff
see that.
Hafley would make sense for a team like I mean, I would have been fine with Jeff Hafley to a New York. I would have been fine with a Jeff Hafley to a Baltimore if they could. Either you keep Todd Monken or you replace him and find a more creative play caller, whichever route you go. But Miami specifically, they lost McDaniel, so I think they're trying to find like a culture change. I just don't think Hafley's a culture change kind of guy. He's young. He's not very outspoken. He's kind of, I mean, maybe I'm completely off base here, but he just doesn't scream like a culture change type of guy, like a Dan Campbell or a John Harbaugh or something like that. I'm not saying he can't be a leader of men, but I just, I don't think that's the guy that Miami needed to go after. So I think they wanted to get the taste of the mouth or taste out of their mouth from McDaniel and just get in a super mature guy that's just no messing around. And
Yeah.
not that Hafley isn't that, but I don't know. I just felt like there was more candidates that exemplified that better.
If that's the route you're gonna go, why not just go Sala? You know, like
Yeah, I agree.
it-
And maybe Saleh was a more preferred coach, and maybe Titans was a more appealing job opening than Miami, which I
Could be.
personally agree with because Cam
Yeah.
Ward being the differentiator there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a bad coach. I am on the side of like staying away from defensive-minded head coaches just because best case scenario, you're cycling through offensive coordinators every year.
Yeah.
So, but it just seems like such a like scared, low ceiling hire.
Yeah.
I don't see how, because like they're gonna have bad quarterback play next year. I mean, you're either gonna have Tua, a late or like a first round quarterback that's not Fernando Mendoza, and now that Dante Moore is going back to school, I mean it's really not much.
Do you even draft? Like, I feel like if I'm Miami, I'm probably just like playing out the contract with Tua this
Yeah, I'm
year. Just not.
Yeah, 100%. I
Maybe
would.
try to make his job as easy as possible, but at the same time, like understand he's not your future.
Yeah.
And bringing in a Halfley, it's like maybe try to get the defensive infrastructure built first before you pour all your chips into just throwing a name out there like a Julian saying next year.
Yeah,
something
yeah,
along
no, I
those-
get that part. And
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't know. They got young defensive pieces that would be pretty exciting with Hafley's scheme. I mean, you got
I'm
Chop
excited to see
Robinson.
I'm excited to see what Chop and Kenneth Grant
Yeah.
can become for sure.
Yeah, I like that, and he's a pretty good defensive mind. He's pretty creative. He's good with his stunts. He is a smart blitzer. He blitzes when necessary. He doesn't do it over the top. Like he's not like Flores, whereas like if it's third down, you are getting blitzed no matter what. Like
Yeah,
Flores.
they don't even
But-
discuss it.
Yeah, but I mean, he disguises it. He's smart with it. Like he can fool specifically a young quarterback. Like he was really giving Caleb Williams a hard time. I mean, until the fourth quarters in the last two games they played against the Bears. But I mean,
That's just what the Bears are.
it
I
happens.
guess.
And Ben Johnson's just a great
They
coach.
do it. I mean, they just did it to the Rams.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
But yeah,
So he's a good mind. Good. I mean, I don't think it's a bad hire. I think it'll be fine for him. They're gonna have bad quarterback play next year, and I mean, he's obviously just gonna have nothing to do with that, and he's not gonna be able to
Yeah.
help it. So
it feels
it's
like
just weird.
golden opportunity for this guy to be the scapegoat of a just
Yeah, 100%.
offense.
100%. I think there's a very good chance that he's a one and done,
Yeah.
or a two and done. Maybe like an Aaron Glenn is going to be next year. Like
Yeah.
he gets a year in between. Like, oh, we're gonna suck. We know that, and then they suck, and they're like, okay, we'll give you another shot, and then they just don't play that well again the following year. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not inspired by it. He's a good coordinator. He might end up being a good head coach someday. I just don't like the fit in Miami.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's one of those things where, I haven't, done a deep dive into Green Bay's defensive philosophy and how that will translate to the pieces on Miami's defense. So it's hard for me to give a real opinion. But it's just from a baseline of like looking at the candidates and just how quickly they executed on this,
Mhm.
like they knew Halfley was their guy. So I guess credit to them for getting that done quickly. But there is a very large list of guys that I think I would rather have over Halfley, and that's not to say I thought it was like a horrendous hire. Like
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some hires made here in the future that are going to be pretty horrendous, just based on the names that are available
Yeah,
at
I
least
agree.
interviewed. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those ones where looking at the group of four guys that got hired, it's like I said I wasn't inspired by the John Harbaugh thing. That shouldn't get twisted by I think that's a bad hire. I actually think that's a really good hire. They just it's he's an older head coach. It's hard to be like this is the future. I know he signed a
Yeah, no, I
5-year
get you.
deal, but yeah, and same with like Sala and Stefanski. Fucking love the Stefanski hire. That was
Yeah, no,
excellent.
I liked both of those hires a lot.
Yeah, 100%. And we can use that as a transition if you'd like. Do you want to talk about Sala or Harbaugh? Because I feel like we both. Do you have
If you,
Stefanski as the best hire of
I would say Stefanski's pretty comfortably the best hire.
Okay. And
Um,
I'd probably put Harbaugh and Sala in like the same tier, but for like different reasons.
yeah, I think I would have Salah a little bit above Harbaugh.
Yeah, just for
But
like the age factor and like the youth infusion of Sala, I think
exactly, I
would be
agree.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we can jump into Harbaugh here.
Harbaugh. Okay, I actually do like the John Harbaugh hire because this guy was not supposed to become available, and for New York specifically, like I don't know if Jackson Dart is going to be John Harbaugh's guy. I suppose like I don't know what any of this means for the roster standpoint, but what I do know with John Harbaugh is he is a good head coach. Now he hasn't gotten over the hump with the Hall of Fame quarterback he has in Lamar Jackson. So that's obviously the biggest talking point with John Harbaugh.
Mhm.
I think him specifically instills a level like a baseline level of culture, discipline, and just execution.
100% echo
And
that.
and like look at this, like it's John Harbaugh coaching in New York, man. Guys are gonna
Yeah,
want to play there.
yeah,
Like this is going to be a huge free agent destination. It
yeah.
just
That
is.
is true.
And not that New York's going to be some big spender, but they have added pieces in the offseason pretty consistently. Very consistently. What was it this past year? They added Paulson Adebo.
Yep.
They add guys. They added Brian Burns. What was it? 2 seasons ago, two
Yep.
off seasons ago. So they can get big name guys, and I'm kind of higher on Jackson Dart than I thought I was going to be at the end of this
Good
season.
flip
So
there.
yeah, no, I like the hire. It's one of those things where get back to me when I see what he does in free agency and in the draft.
Yeah,
But as like a baseline, I think New York has lacked discipline. They've lacked just baseline execution. They've lacked baseline, like just frankly, like schematically what they do on offense. At least to me, just with what Jackson Dart succeeded at in college, just I don't feel like they did enough. I don't think they
yeah.
did enough of just utilizing one-on-one matchups downfield. I don't think they did enough spread. So maybe John Harbaugh can unlock that, or maybe Jackson Dart's out in year 3 and he finds his guy. I don't know. That's why I'm saying get back to me in the offseason. I think it's a good hire. I don't know how you feel,
Yeah,
but
no, I liked the Harbaugh one quite a bit actually. I wasn't a big fan of Harbaugh in Baltimore, and I'm actually really just not a big fan of Harbaugh as a head coach in general. I think he's a fine head coach. CEO head coaches are, I mean, they're pretty volatile. I mean, you gotta hire good coordinators every year, and then
yeah.
if you hire a good coordinator, odds are they're gone at some
That's the
point.
that's the thing with Harbaugh. It's like it's hard not to trust him to do that. I mean, the one of the best coaches in the NFL right now, talking about Mike McDonald, is
It's true.
I mean, Harbaugh's lineage.
Yeah, he
It's
did
hard
follow
not.
it up with Zach Orr, so I
Yeah, I mean,
take.
we'll just
It's tough. I mean, you're not going to hit on every coordinator you sign. It's
yeah.
never, I mean, it's not
I
going to
mean,
happen.
just yeah, exactly. I mean, we talk about the Bucks basically having a new offensive coordinator every year,
Every
every other
single
year.
year.
Not every single one of them is going to be Liam Cohen.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Yeah.
high bar to clear. Same with Mike McDonald. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, no, I just like this hire. When I watch Giants football, not that I enjoy watching, nor do I watch a ton of Giants football, um,
Same.
it just seems so undisciplined and like people just missing gaps, gap assignments,
Hmm.
missing blocking assignments, not because they're bad at football, but because it looks like they're poorly coached and like
Yeah.
unprepared. And like they have talented guys, especially on that defense. Like they have talent, not everywhere, but like I mean they have holes obviously, but they have
Right.
talent. And it just does when you watch it on the field, it just doesn't look like that. It's not cohesive.
Hmm.
They needed a culture change. Like 100%, I think that was the most important thing going into the offseason. They needed to reset the culture, and I think John Harbaugh like is the perfect candidate to go change the culture. Like,
If he can somehow find his Marlon Humphrey for that New York Giants defense, like the cornerback one. I know Cordell Flott had a good season. I know they have pieces in the secondary, but like if he can truly find his corner, which because I think like thinking about the New York Giants defense specifically, that's kind of what they're missing. Maybe a
mhm,
safety, like maybe a coverage safety, yeah.
yeah,
But that's kind of just all they're missing. And like I don't know. I feel like this is just a good like you reset the culture. You're only a few pieces away defensively from being like a really good unit.
mhm,
Offensively, if Dart continues to excel, you you think you got a guy in Scattaboo. We'll see what he looks like after the injury.
yeah,
Pieces on the offensive line, obviously, still needs to be addressed. But
yeah,
you have Andrew Thomas. I'm not sure what you're going to do with Illuminor. Got to see what they do in the interior, but it feels like that's a team. Like you said, to piggyback off you, that was undisciplined, poorly coached, didn't look like they even, prepared on a week to week basis,
yeah,
game to game basis. You're getting a guy who, like, at minimum, will have you prepared every
yeah,
single week. He's not
100%.
he's not the Mike McDaniel schemer of the world. He's not the Kevin Stefanski guy, but he's kind of like the CEO head coach where I'm like, all right, I know what I'm getting. I
Yeah,
know
yeah.
the floor is.
He's a really good like franchise stabilizer.
Yeah.
Like because I mean since Manning left, I mean honestly even like towards the end of Manning's career, like they've just been an absolute dumpster fire. Like it like a New York
Yeah.
team, well, I'm not even going to say a New York team because the Jets are the Jets. But the New York Giants shouldn't be like so dysfunctional every single year like
Yeah.
that they look like this. Like I get like having bad years and even just being a bad football team for a few years, but like just looking dysfunctional, looking like they don't belong on the football field most games. It's like they needed something. They needed a stabilizer. I think that's what Harbaugh is.
It's just too big of a market, too large of a name for New
Yeah,
York Giants to just be like, clumped in with the Jets every single year,
yeah,
the
exactly.
Dolphins, these teams,
Yeah.
Browns.
Will they win a Super Bowl with them? If I had to put money on it, I'd say no. Will
Not
they
in
make even
not
a
in today's
conference
NFC.
championship appearance with him? I would say no, but I'd bet if he's there for 5 to 10 years, I bet they make the playoffs half the time. I bet
I'm
they
just
make,
like I'm kind of looking at it like I'm looking at that division and I'm saying, okay, I can very clearly see a world where they're better than Washington, obviously.
yeah, because,
I can
yep.
very clearly see a world where if they nail the draft, they could be better than Dallas. And then at that point, could I see them competing for a wild card spot under
Yeah.
Harbaugh? It's like, yeah, if I
Yeah,
squint
you're a
my
wild
eyes,
card
I
team there.
kind of can. Yeah,
Yeah, and then that's just in year 1 or 2. Like, I mean, three,
right.
4, or 5 years down the road, when you have this like set foundation here for a couple of years, it's like, yeah, and I mean, now you're just kind of, I mean, I mean, at some point the Eagles are gonna have to pay their guys. They're not gonna be able to pay everybody.
Yeah,
Giants are very young. The Commanders are very much not young. So the
oldest team.
Commanders are gonna have a tough time keeping people and I mean, developing people because they don't have anybody young enough to develop.
Yeah,
And the Cowboys, I mean, Dak's what, 32,
something like
something
that.
like that. He's not getting any younger, and he sure as hell isn't getting
32,
any more mobile. I mean,
32, and with an owner like Jerry Jones, I mean, any given year, you have no idea what that roster could look like. No
yeah,
fucking.
exactly. And I mean, the Dallas's defense right now is depleted talent wise, and
Mhm.
the offense they got. I mean, yeah, they have C.D. Lamb, and if they bring Pickens back, I mean, Dak, Pickens, Lamb, you're going to win games with that. But I
Mhm.
mean, a couple of years from now, they're not going to have that. So it's like, I mean, say 3 years from now, if they're like, if the Giants are like the top of the division looking down year in and year out, and like they win the division most years, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be either, and I would trust John Harbaugh to find the predecessor or the heir apparent for himself.
Mm-hmm.
3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, when you get closer to that fifth year, assuming he doesn't get fired, which
I mean, it's
I just
always a
don't see
chance.
that happening. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a hire where it's like he would it would go so badly that he would get
Yeah, I
fired.
don't think he can fall on his
How many
face.
years did Dable get there? Like
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I,
so.
I don't
Yeah,
see him falling on his face.
if you had to give the last two hires that we talked about, Halfley and Harbaugh, like a grade, you know, F through A, what would you give each of them?
Halfley, um, I mean, this sounds like I'm just hating on Halfley, but I just really don't like the fit at all. And So for the like Dolphins, I'd probably give that one like a D plus C minus. I just really don't like that fit very much.
Hmm.
And then for the Giants and Harbaugh, I'd give that one a B to a B plus. I actually really like that one. I just liked Saleh and Stefanski just that much.
Yeah, and we can talk about solid next. I think I would agree with you on the grades. I would probably go like D plus, C minus for Halfley, and then B to B plus for Harbaugh, something
Yep.
like that. So moving on to Sala, I don't have and it's tough because obviously things did not go well with the Jets. I can't force myself to believe because he consistently had good performing defenses. I can't. That just was not his fault. I don't know.
No, it wasn't.
Maybe I'm off base. I don't know. And I understand Tennessee is a complete same thing with Dallas, talent deficit on the defensive side of the ball. Not that they
Mhm.
have, not that it's as bad as Dallas. I think Tennessee has, you know, I, I'd have to do the good player for good player, but I'd like to think Tennessee has at least more young, valuable
Yeah,
players.
like players worth a damn.
Olafemi Oladejo, Kevin Winston, Tavondre Sweat, and then you obviously have Jeffrey Simmons, who's just good forever, I guess.
Yeah.
And I would assume L'Jarius Sneed gets cut, but when he's healthy, he's a fine player. So I think this is one of those it's hard to picture what this can look like right now, but would it shock me if we get 2 years down the line and Tennessee is competing for that shitty division, just to put it frankly?
I mean,
No.
you I'm not gonna sit here and say they're gonna be competing for the division next year because I think it's just gonna be the Jags and
Oh,
Texans.
next year, no way, no way. They're
But
just
I
not.
like I don't I don't think it's unbelievable to say say they go out and get a wide receiver one in free agency and
Mhm.
then add like a pass rusher or something that they can go win I mean they're gonna have a easy schedule, go win 8 or 9 games and at least
Yeah.
compete for like a 7 seed. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Could
I
they be what the Panthers were this year, next
Yeah, I
year?
think they could be that pesky team.
Right?
I
Yeah.
think Cam Ward's a lot better than Bryce Young was
Yes,
in his second year.
that's the other big part of this is you have Cam Ward.
Yeah, no, and I believe in Cam Ward. I see so many flashes. He just that there's nothing around him.
Right?
And
No, nothing at all.
the reason I believe in Salah so much, I'm usually pretty out on defensive minded head coaches, but he's so good. I mean, what he
Good.
did with
Yeah.
The
This
Jets
was
were even when the Jets sucked, even when the Jets were still awful with Salah, they put out a what? They were like a top 5 defense that year. And as
yeah,
soon as
they had back-to-back top 7 finishes, just
yeah,
defensive finishes, even when they were awful.
yeah, and that's when they're on the field all the time because the offense can't do anything.
Yeah.
And so you do that in back-to-back years, and then as soon as you're gone, guess what? You're one of the worst defenses in football. I
Yeah.
mean, and then you go to San Fran, who, I mean, when you were the coordinator there the first time, you were pumping out great defensive seasons with injuries piled on top of injuries, and then you leave, the defense goes to shit, and you come back, and you don't have Nick Bosa, you don't have the rookie pass rusher you just drafted, you don't have Fred Warner for most of the year, you lose Dre Greenlaw in free agency, you lose Talona Hufunga in free agency, your best player in your secondary is Lenore or Upton Stout,
Yeah.
Upton
Upton
fucking Stout, and you go and you put out a defense that's good enough to get you into the divisional round.
Look, they were dead last in they had 20 sacks this year. Do you know how hard that is to have a season with 20 sacks?
Yeah,
It's impossible to have that little amount of sacks. But having said that, they only gave up, look at it right now, just over 107 rushing yards per game.
yeah, I
Just
mean,
under 22 points per game. It's a top half unit with
nobody.
me and you out there starting on the defense.
Yeah, watching this season, I mean, I think Flores is probably at least mind-wise, the best defensive mind in the NFL. I don't know if he'll
Mhm.
get a job because of his whole thing with the
McDonald up there
McDonald's
too.
up there too. Yeah, I think it's those three. But
Yeah.
watching Salah this year with what they're doing, you can't tell me it's a sizable gap.
No,
I mean,
no way. No, I mean, if you gave, Robert Saleh, if you gave him that Seattle secondary and that pass rush and those linebackers, he'd probably have a very similarly performing unit. I'd have to believe that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, hell, give him Van Ginkel and 75-year-old Harrison Smith. I mean,
Yeah.
he he had nothing, and he put together a top half unit with nothing.
They
I mean,
legitimately, and it really came to me watching the Seattle game with San Francisco. Seattle, I wouldn't say is a team that has like a bookend offensive line. I think Charles Cross is a good player. Gray Zabel is going to be a phenomenal player. But we're not talking about, just like a steel wall of offensive linemen.
yeah,
And the San Francisco, and I can't even like blame them. They didn't run a lot of like super crazy pass rush concepts because these guys that are rushing the passer are like they're just not NFL players.
they're not.
Like
I mean, they're not
these are
even
the
rotational.
no, these are the guys that are supposed to be like suiting up on the practice squad or being like the third guy in the rotation. These are
They're
not
supposed to be on the practice squad of bad teams. Like,
yeah, and they're taking snaps in a playoff game, and look, I was like originally low on Mykel Williams. I was originally low on him. I was not all that high on him. But dude, the difference that he makes in this defense just as a run defender is insane. I mean, I don't think he's the greatest player in the world. He is head and shoulders above everybody else that steps
yeah,
foot on that front four.
those defensive linemen make Michael Williams look like Aaron Donald. I mean, they make Nick Bosa look like Jesus Christ reincarnate. I mean, it's that bad. And
Seriously.
how he managed to put together a top half defensive unit, I can't
It's
even begin
one
to
of the
understand.
most impressive coaching jobs I've seen in the NFL.
Like ever. I mean, it was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
They
I
made it
mean,
to the divisional round, dude.
yeah, they beat
Like,
I they and I mean they were holding good offenses to not anything. I mean,
yeah.
other than the Bears game where they gave up a ton of points, I mean they held Seattle in their second matchup to what was it, like 16 points or something. Um, it was
Held
something like that. They lost like
held
16 to
held
6.
Philly to 19 in their playoff game. You know, they gave up some points this year, but like held Jacksonville to only 26. Held Seattle the first time to 13. Like and it's been depleted all year. This is not just like, oh, we had 9 injuries in the span of 3 weeks. No, I mean this defense was. I mean, what week did Fred Warner break his ankle? It was
I think it was
early
like
in the season,
2 or 3, something like that.
something like that. I was thinking like week 4. So
Maybe
yeah,
4. It might have been 4.
super early in the season. Losing a guy like that is like, I'm trying to think of it's like losing Trent Williams on your offense. Essentially, it just
Pretty
kind of
much.
derails everything you want to do, or like losing CMC on your offense, just kind of derails everything you want to do. And it's not just him as a player, but him as a leader. Robert Saleh essentially had to take that Fred Warner role, just from a leadership perspective,
Yeah.
and just give it to himself. And he was able to awaken something in this secondary and this linebacking core. I mean, Eric Kendricks was out there playing snaps and looked playable.
Yeah, Eric Kendricks looked
Insane.
solid. I mean, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. It
Yeah.
was I don't know. He did a great job, and I like the hire. I think it's a good culture change for Tennessee. I think they're going to put out a top 15 unit next year with absolutely nobody on the defensive side of the football, and I think it'll just get better after that.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's like like we talked about with the Giants. I could see them competing for a wild card spot next year. I don't think I could see that with Tennessee.
No, probably not.
But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, he's way higher than all these other guys that were hired this cycle.
Mhm.
And the next guy we're about to talk about, I think, was the best hire of the whole cycle. And I don't know if Robert Saleh is going to be able to outperform Stefanski, but I could easily see a world where he's like the best or second best or third best head coach hired in this cycle when we look back on it, a couple
Yeah.
years from now.
I yeah, Stefanski, that's just perfect scheme fit. I mean, everything
Yeah.
about it.
Well, that's like, I know, you see it on Twitter, you joke about it, like, this team's a quarterback away. That team is a quarterback away. That is it. That is all they need. Literally
Yeah.
one quarterback.
Yeah. if Penix is
Like the
if
defense is
Penix
there.
is average, they're not a contender yet, but I mean, damn close.
They
If
should
he's
win
this
that
average,
division. They should absolutely win that division if Penix is like the 22nd best quarterback in football. If he's Bo Nix, right? And I guess I shouldn't say that because Bo Nix has been hooping, but like if he's second year CJ Stroud, you should be able to, and that's not a good player, but that's like a playable
no,
human,
I
not
I get
what
it.
Mike Penix was last year or this past year.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
he doesn't have to be good. He just has to not be horrible, and they should go. I mean, with Stefanski with that play action offense, I mean, Drake
dude.
London's gonna go for 1,500 yards.
They might have the highest EPA per play on play action passes in like the history of the sport.
Oh, it's
Because
gonna be.
teams will load the box because they literally have to. You have Bijan Robinson back there. You have to load the box. And
Hmm.
I don't know if they're bringing that back Algier. I kind of would want them to just because I think that tandem makes a lot of sense. I think it just
Yeah,
co- the cohesion is good with those two.
yeah.
You are going to get one-on-ones everywhere with Drake London. I would assume they're going to bring back Kyle Pitts. I don't know.
Yeah,
You're going to get one-on-ones everywhere,
and
man.
you're gonna draft a wide receiver in
They're
the
going
first
to.
or second round for sure. That or you're gonna pay money and get somebody in,
Yeah.
but you don't have a ton of money to work with because of the Kirk Cousins deal. So I'd imagine they draft a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds, and so I mean you pair London with a Concepcion or a Boston, and Boston doesn't make as much sense, but
Maybe
one of
like
the slot receivers or one of the I guess not slot because Drake London's your power slot, but a guy that you can line up kind of anywhere can win one on one, just a good like route
like
technician.
really the best fit would be Tyson, but there's just no way he falls to Atlanta's pit. I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe the
Yeah, it's
injury,
possible.
but I don't know. Yeah, something like that. I get what you're saying. Like a guy who's more like a nuanced route runner who wins against zone as opposed to man and is really smart and sure-handed. Like doesn't really matter where he plays as long as you can run offense with both of them on the field
Hmm.
as targets for the defense, I suppose.
I just
There,
need someone to get on the field. Sorry if I interrupted. I need
no,
someone to get on the field so that Ryan, is his name Ryan Sills,
that guy, yeah,
get him off the field. Did he get? Just get him off
whatever
the
that
field.
guy's name is.
Get him off the field. I mean, I'd honestly prefer Mooney off the field.
Yeah,
Just get those two off the field. Just get me a body that's better than those two.
yeah,
That's all I
and we
need.
bring it up like every pod, but like Romeo Dobbs, Alec Pierce, the free
Yeah.
agents that are available. There's
I don't
gonna
know
be
if they got Pierce money. I don't know about some of those smaller. Um,
Yeah, I keep forgetting that they just have the Kirk Cousins
the Kirk
contract.
Cousins thing's just going to screw them over. Granted, though, their entire defense is pretty young,
Basically on
and
rookie
most of
deals.
their weapons are on their rookie contracts too. So maybe they have money. I'm not sure. I'd have
The
to look.
guys that are going to get massive contracts, James Pierce Jr. specifically, and Xavier Watts, even though he's a safety, he's going to get a big deal. They're on their rookie deals. They're rookies. You have them on their current deal for, at least with James Pierce Jr., for 4 more years, at least.
Hmm.
So, if you can, take advantage of that. I don't know if there, is a feasible way to move off the Kirk Cousins contract. I think you're kind of just stuck with it.
You just
You
got to
paid your
ride
bet,
with
it's
it, especially when Penix is going to miss part of the year. You're just going to have
yeah.
Kirk start.
Which is fine. Like, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I think it's okay to have, like, a backup that has been in the system for, and I guess it's a new system, but I think the Stefanski system specifically with the play action, with the run game, is going to be easy to pick up. And it's actually going to help Kirk Cousins, I
I
think,
think
if
that
he had to see the field. Yeah, and they also kept Ulbrich. I'm
I think it's Ulbrich, yeah.
really good defensive coordinator. I don't really have too much to say. I think that was going to happen no matter what because I don't think he was so good that he was going to get a head coaching job, but also I think the defense specifically has a chance to just explode next year. Like I really
I agree.
they are loaded at every single you need some new linebackers, but like that's a very easy position to address.
Yeah, I mean,
Draft
Quay
some
Walker's probably going to hit open market. Go
Yeah,
give him a few million
this is a
dollars.
really good linebackers class.
That's
Like
it.
you could wait till day 3 and still get 2 starters out of it. Like really good linebacking class, and Atlanta is just I can't believe how like low I was on their draft, and then here we are a year later, and I'm like, dude, I don't think they missed on a pick. Jalen Walker hit,
Yeah, he's
James
good.
Pierce Jr. easy hit,
Massive hit.
Xavier Watts was the next pick, I think, easy hit.
Watts was
Was he
he was
late?
late, wasn't he? Wasn't he in like the
I might be thinking.
fourth or fifth?
I'd have to look at their draft. I'm not gonna look at their draft, but whatever. They got Watts, who's a hit. Billy Bowman played really well when he was on the field. Brandon Dorless had a really good year this year for Atlanta. Uh, I guess I'd like to see like a veteran interior guy added. I don't know who that would be, but
Yeah.
just someone to stabilize the interior so it's not just Brandon Dorless go win, please.
Yeah.
So,
Get another guy. That way, I mean, that way you can stop the run, and let your now second year pass rushers just tee off.
mhm.
Let James
Yeah,
Pierce
man.
just be a demon.
I'm so glad we did not do this pod, prior to last year's draft because I fucking hated James Pierce Jr. I thought there was no way. I thought there was zero chance. I thought that was the worst trade I'd ever seen. Now I'm looking at it like, dude, LA better lock the fuck in on this draft pick because it's going to be hard to beat that James Pierce Jr.
I mean,
pick.
yeah. I mean, I don't like the value, but I mean, with the
No,
picks that they got from it, they got James Pierce and they got Xavier Watts out of that deal.
exactly. The process of it is bad, objectively. It just is. But when you draft the way they do, it's like, okay, you did what you needed to do in order to make that trade in order to stomach that trade, you drafted exactly who you needed to, and you probably got an even bigger return on investment than you expected.
Oh
So,
yeah.
like like seriously talking about two potential All Pros,
Oh yeah.
not
I
just
mean,
Pro Bowlers.
James Pierce is on. I mean, he looks like he's going to be a future All Pro. It's
Yeah,
dangerous to say that about a rookie pass rusher just because year two is like massive for
yeah,
pass
for sure.
rushers because
Yeah, for sure.
like wide receivers, sophomore slump is real
Yeah,
because a lot of rookie pass rushers are
there's
one
no
move guys.
tape on them, and it's just
Mm-mm.
hard to because they're never going to be exactly what they were in college right into the NFL. They pick up shit, they learn shit, they get taught new stuff. So the sophomore slump, the sophomore wall, whatever you want to call it, huge. And if they can blow past that, like some players have been able to do,
Mm-hmm.
I just they murdered that draft, man, and that's why I love like being able to retain Ulbrich. Huge, man, huge for these guys' development. Just going forward, being in the same system. Can't emphasize enough how important that is.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredibly important. Like there's a reason why, certain quarterbacks who go through, like Baker Mayfield specifically. I know we don't think he's like the best quarterback in the world, but he's carved out a nice little career for himself in Tampa. Why? Because he had a consistent system for more than a year. And now that system is gone, Cohen, Jacksonville, and he looks kind of more like the Baker that we all know and love, but that's my point. Like it's important. It's incredibly important. And that's kind of why I love the Stefanski hiring just because it's like that's the system I want with those players in that offense. It
Yeah,
makes
and it just makes so much sense. Like if Penix is gonna be good, this is perfect because this is the system he would thrive in. So if he's gonna be good or like average or just what you need out of him, like this is the system to do it in. If he ends up being not good, then I mean you just let Stefanski go get his guy, but
yeah, exactly.
cross that
That's
bridge when you get there.
win-win, like no matter what if you're Atlanta. And like I'm really starting to like see the vision with Atlanta. It seems like they had a plan in place this time pretty much since they made the Penix pick. I know it like probably hasn't worked out how they wanted, but they've had a very clear plan on how they wanted to, I guess, create this roster, reshape the roster. They've done a phenomenal job. And like looking at the offensive play callers available, like I don't know if I would prefer any of these guys over Stefanski.
No,
As
I
far
don't
as
think
like
so.
OCs, like we're talking about McDaniel, maybe he's a better schemer, but I don't want him at head coach.
I don't want him at head coach yet. That's the
No,
thing.
and like then you're getting down to like Matt Nagy, no fucking way. Clint Kubiak, maybe, but like has Stefanski's been a head coach. I've seen him succeed at head coach before. I'd rather have Stefanski. Mike LaFleur from the Rams, same thing. Grant Ukinski from Jacksonville, same thing. Joe Brady, same thing. Like, I think they just nailed that hire.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. Perfect fit. I mean, no.
And they hired Bill
no
Callahan today, dude. Like,
Mm.
best offensive line coach to have ever lived. Just casually on the open market, Atlanta picked him up. They've had a flawless offseason so far.
Yeah, they did it right. They should. I mean, they should win the South next year.
I think
even
so.
with the nonsense at quarterback.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think whoever is the better quarterback in 2026 between Bryce Young or Tyler Shuck will be the team that is competing against Atlanta, I guess. Or I know Tampa's going to be up there too, but I think whichever one of those two teams is going to be like the team that's kind of frisky, could make it, could not, and then, the team that's left out is going to be the bottom feeder of that division.
Yeah.
Which could be Carolina, but I don't know. I kind of lean New Orleans right now, even though I think Shuck is better than Bryce Young.
I think Shuck's better than Bryce Young too, but Saints roster sucks, and I
It's
know, and they don't have.
So bad.
They don't have money to
It's so bad, and they
roster.
don't have money, and they don't have draft capital. So,
Yeah,
which
no,
is
there's just no way they're going to get the roster any better.
And they
Like,
just
they
don't.
can get themselves out of cap hell because they do it every year because it's easy. You just restructure, push it down the line. Problem is when you do that, you don't have any money to spend, so you just you don't
you're
you
basically
don't
just
gain
like-
anything.
you're digging yourself out of the hole that you created the past year just to re-dig yourself in it every single year, and you'll just keep repeating that process.
Yeah,
They also, specifically the Saints are a team that's just not talented enough to trade guys either and get crazy draft capital.
Yeah, no, they don't have anybody. To
Your
trade.
most valuable asset is Kelvin Banks Jr., at least in my opinion, by far. But you're not trading KBJ. It's and I don't think you should trade Olave either. But I also don't know if you pay Olave. So they're in such a weird
I
spot.
don't know what you get for Olave.
That's what I'm saying.
He's already what? So he's not
I
old, but he's what? 25, 26.
think he's 25, going to be 26 next year. So
So
you're right. He's not old, but this is
it's not
what
like he's a 22-year-old.
And he had a
got
good year last year.
Yeah, he had a great year. He's got the head stuff. I mean, you're not gonna get enough out of a trade for Olave that it would be worth trading Olave. You're just gonna
No way. And
you're gonna
him
get
and
more out of him playing.
him and Shuck had just a really good connection to end the year. And they're not doing
If
that.
you think Shuck's your franchise guy, don't give him Devon Vele to be your wide receiver one, please.
That's
just kind
dead
of
ass who their wide receiver one would be if they traded Chris Olave.
Yeah,
They're a team that the running back round one shit makes absolutely no sense to me at all.
God, if it happens,
I understand you need a running back. I get it. Draft one later, man. You have bigger needs. It makes sense for a team I don't want to say Washington because it's kind of the same. I guess it makes more sense for a team like Kansas City to take Jeremiah Love, or a team like even Cincinnati. I think it would make more sense than New Orleans to take a guy like Jeremiah Love.
Round one running backs are luxury picks, and even then, they're usually bad picks.
That's why the only team that would make sense taking Jeremiah Love would be Kansas City. And as a Kansas City fan, I'd lose my fucking mind if they took Jeremiah Love. So just don't do it. That easy.
Yeah,
Take a receiver.
don't take a round one running back unless you can afford.
Just fucking take Ruben Bain, man. Don't even overthink it. Just if he's there, take Ruben Bain. Or take Peter Woods. I don't know. Just don't fucking overthink it. Or take Mekhi Lemon, Jordan Tyson. Just
Take
draft
any
one.
human being
take
around that
literally
area
anyone.
that isn't a running back.
Yeah, dude, take literally anyone that isn't a running back or a corner. I'd even see the vision for Caleb Downs. But I don't know. Anyways, I don't know how the fuck we got off on a Saints tangent.
It's all good.
Do you want to talk about the Mike McDaniel to LA thing?
Yeah,
Wrap
we can
this
talk
up?
about Mike McDaniel.
Awesome. Okay. Like I said earlier, this happened 10 minutes before we started recording the pod, and I haven't really had the chance to gather my thoughts, but on the surface, A+ hire for LA. I mean, you can't get better at offensive coordinator. You just can't. So I don't know. I'd assume you feel the same way. It's the best offensive coordinator available by far.
Yeah, it's just perfect because you get all of the genius play calling and genius mind and young guy that can be there for a while, whatever, and you don't have to worry about the immature bullshit that he has as a head coach because he's not going to be the one being questioned by reporters and stuff at halftime. So you don't got to listen to that nonsense.
Yeah, I do, and I do think like Mike McDaniel being the OC will stir up the offensive line. It will. I know he's not an offensive line guy, but he is a run game guy. He is specifically a spread you out, and we are going to run. We're going to get tackles pulling. We are going to get guards pulling. We're going to run trap, duo, everything under the sun. How do you do that? You get a bunch of fucking athletes along the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Mekhi Becton, get ready to fucking feel unemployment right now. You're not on this team next year. Joel Rashawn Slater, get healthy. You will see a. I'd like to think they will revamp the interior of the offensive line, but then again, it is the Chargers, so I don't know. I've been saying that for like 3 years now, and they've never done it. So maybe I don't know. It's hard not to love that hire, man. Like it's just sick. I mean, Omarion Hampton's gonna be awesome. Gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah, you're gonna unlock Hampton, and I do like that for the pass catchers too. Because I mean, I'd imagine Keenan Allen's probably just done.
Probably done. He's a free agent.
Maybe he comes back for another year as your wide receiver 4. But I think
bad player. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I think you got to let Trey Harris kind of. You got to see what you got with him, and if you don't,
that's gonna be his role, like the slant contested catch guy, the curl on third down. Like,
I mean, unless he just sucks at practice and they just replace him with a guy in the draft or free agency, whatever.
It's possible. I mean, like they definitely. Like they took wide receiver round 1, I'd absolutely be like, okay, yeah, that makes.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think he just. I mean, Quentin Johnston is just going to get schemed open, and it's just going to happen. He's
Ladd McConkey gonna have a. He might have a fucking 1,900 all-purpose yard year. Like
Ladd McConkey is just going to catch a ton of passes. He's going to be open all the time, and Quentin Johnston's going to get schemed open. He's going to get advantage looks like on little screen stuff, like where you got 3 wide receivers to the right, you got 2 DBs over to the right, and then a safety kind of shaded to the right. You get it out to Quentin Johnston, have the other 2 block the 2 corners right in front of him, and tell Quentin Johnston to go beat that safety to a spot. I mean, stuff like that's just going to happen all the time.
And you
No, that was the end of my thought.
I was just going to say, like, you now have, if you're Mike McDaniel, a quarterback who can make every throw on earth. He can make every throw on the planet. Can you re-unlock his confidence? I'd like to think he can, because dealing with Tua is more of a timing, precision, accuracy quarterback. You know, prior to the injuries, the concussions, you know, like prior to that, Tua was a pretty efficient quarterback. You know, I'm not saying he was, you know, ever better than Herbert. He wasn't, but he was a good quarterback. What can you do with a guy like Herbert who can literally unlock another like third of the field? You know, Tua was able to execute in the short to intermediate range at a pretty decent rate. You know, when things were going well in Miami.
Yeah.
You now have Justin Herbert who does that or can do that, but also has that deep to even deeper range. You know, like the 60-yard in-air throws, 55-yard in-air throws. What can you do? What can you do with that if you're Mike McDaniel, man? Like, should be a really fun offense.
Yeah, I need Quentin Johnston to catch at least 5 of those next year.
And he actually like gets open on those. You know, those deep overs where it's like, all right, you're going to stack this corner and you're going to cross the face of the safety. That's your only job. That's all you got to do. He did that like at a pretty decent rate this year, and that was a lot of his deep route diet. It's like, okay, beat this corner if he's pressing you. If not, just create some leverage, step on his toes, cross the face of the safety. Herbert will get it there. Except Herbert didn't get it there.
He's just scared.
He was open, but he was open. Or I shouldn't say he was open. He didn't really have separation. But dude, when you have a step in the NFL, that's wide open. It just is.
Yeah, and you just got to get Herbert back to his rookie year where he just threw that thing around. And I don't know what it is because obviously he hasn't had Greg Roman his entire career, but I can't imagine Greg Roman helped.
No,
good Lord. I can't imagine he helped with that. I bet Greg Roman was sitting whispering in his ear, just throw it to the running back.
It kind of just shocks me that they even made this hire because it's like the Harbaugh family in general just doesn't strike me as guys that are just hyper willing to go way out of their tree, which is what Mike McDaniel was. I mean,
very
Mike McDaniel
different.
was a Shanahan guy, no?
Yeah, it's
So
very different.
exactly, like completely different tree, like completely different philosophy, like just completely different in every way. That's why like I kind of like it. I wish more teams would do that. Like I wish Kansas City would have done that. But that it gets you excited for like okay, what can Herbert be next year? What can the Chargers offense be next year? If that offense takes another step, man, I know that defense is going to be good. I know it.
Yeah,
So if that
especially if
offense takes a
Minter's
step,
there.
man, like all of a sudden, like that division becomes, is it the Denver Broncos division to win every year? I don't know. I don't know.
No,
So and Kansas City just I got to see them get back up to the top before I believe that they'll do it again.
get there.
So
Yeah, no, I get
yeah,
you.
yeah, no, awesome hire. Like in my opinion, like just as far as head coach or offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, best hire of the cycle so
Yeah,
far, in my opinion. I think it tops the Stefanski one just because it's like he was the best, like clearly the best available. You pulled him out of a scheme or you pulled him from a different tree that is completely unrelated to your scheme, which I wish more teams did. And yeah, I mean, not much more to say other than like, love it, love it.
yeah.
No,
You
no
get
notes.
you get Harbaugh's like intensity, leader of men, physicality, like that floor of like we're gonna just win games because we want it more than everybody, and then you add just McDaniel's just being a ingenious, and you don't need him to be your head coach, and it's perfect.
Yeah. So, out of the list of names that I sent you, is there anybody that
Let me look that up.
like really inspires you or think is like, maybe being slept on a little bit? Because I kind of have a name that I'm looking at that I think is like, I don't want to say is slept on, but I just, I don't know. I'm just not seeing very many. Like, is Clint Kubiak just like not getting interviewed by all that many teams? Maybe I'm missing it, but
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them because I thought he was like the top of the like top priority for all the teams looking for an offensive mind. I don't
that's what
know.
I was thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I know
know.
Seattle didn't have like I know they were like a defensive first team. I get that, but same like it's the same thing with Stefanski. Like what Kubiak can do, just designing routes and like naturally creating space, like understanding how to use defenses' leverages against them. Understanding
Mhm.
when certain coverages are coming in which down and distances. I just thought Clint Kubiak did a really good job. With like the nuances of being an offensive play caller, not
Yeah,
just completely separate from his development or his talent on the roster. Thought just the actual like schematics of the job. I thought he was really good, and
yeah,
that's kind of why it surprises me that he's not getting more interviews or he hasn't been hired already. I
yeah,
guess it's 'cause he is still in the playoffs, and I'm a fucking idiot for not putting that together. But I don't know. I guess I just haven't heard his name even mentioned.
yeah.
Like
No, and then teams aren't waiting for him, which I thought I thought teams might. Which I mean, I don't blame teams for not because you can't
it's a
put all your
huge. I mean, there's a bunch of good names. Like I
yeah.
don't. I wouldn't blame any team for being like in New York. New York's not waiting on Kubiak if Harbaugh's available.
Yeah, it's just a risk. You put all your eggs in a basket of a guy who's in the playoffs, and then when the playoffs are over, you go and you have all your eggs in this one basket, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go take
I
this
just
job
like
instead."
I see a team like Baltimore, for example, and the only guy they've interviewed more than once is Matt Nagy, and it's like, how is that possible? Clint Kubiak's available,
You
like
got Clint,
Mike LaFleur is available.
you got
Joe
Flores, Minter, Joe Brady. So is Joe
Joe
Brady gonna?
Brady's just gonna be the head
Is he
coach in
just gonna
Buffalo.
be the Bills? Get the
I think
Bills
he
head
is.
coaching
It's
job?
gonna
Just
be
get
him or
promoted?
Dable, and I don't think it's gonna be Dable. It should be Brady.
It would just make the most sense because
Yeah,
if you don't
same.
promote Brady, then he's just gonna get a head coaching job next year.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I
I don't
think
know.
it's. I was actually gonna ask you that before I decided to ask you, like, who are you inspired by? Like, is Brady's just the head coach in Buffalo?
He
I'd
should be.
assume.
I think he should be. I'm big on Brady. I like Brady a
Like,
lot. I actually thought Brady was the he was my personal like I think this is the guy if you want an offensive mind. I think this is the
yeah.
guy you should go out and get. For most
Mhm.
teams, I mean certain teams like the Falcons, I like Stefanski more for the Falcons just because of his
Yeah.
play action stuff with Kirk Cousins and Penix there. Um, but Joe Brady, I think, is like his run schemes
What he's
are
done
genius.
with not just James Cook, but like he's made Ty Johnson like a legitimate career revival. Ty
Hmm.
Johnson's going to go get a nice bag as a running back too. You know,
Yeah,
it might stay as Buffalo's running back too. I mean, if Joe Brady stays in house, he's 100% going to remain a Buffalo Bill.
yeah.
Obviously, what he's done with James Cook, I mean, James Cook is one of the best running backs in all of football, and it's not just because he's super duper uber talented. He is, but what they do with their offensive line, how they create holes on the front four, and then how they jump to the front seven, and then how they
Yeah.
jump to the back end, like it's just all really cohesive, and you can clearly tell that it's all like meshed together
Hmm.
really well because of his coaching, his play calling.
Yeah. People can say as much as they want. Oh, they have Josh Allen and they have James Cook. Well, I mean, at this point, teams are more afraid of Josh Allen's legs than his arm because who the fuck is he going to throw the ball to?
And like frankly, this year James Cook won more games for them than Josh Allen did. Not
Yeah,
that I
and
not a diss on Josh Allen, it's just how their offense.
yeah, so it's like
Right.
you're just like, oh, Joe Brady's like, I don't think he's ready yet because he's got Josh Allen and James Cook. Like, okay, so what? I mean,
Yeah, what does that even?
um,
What does that mean?
I don't. I've heard it so many times and it drives me insane. It's like, I
Like
mean,
that makes no fucking sense to me. Because like then, what would your argument be for like, oh, Jeff Halfley can't get a job because he had Micah
he had
Parsons?
Micah Parsons for 11 weeks. I mean,
What is-
Mike LaFleur has Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua. Like, and it drives me nuts, that argument. It's like, yeah, he does have James Cook and he does have Josh Allen. Congratulations. You know who his wide receiver 1 is? It's Khalil fucking Shakir. You know who his
Yeah.
wide receiver 2 is? Before he tore his ACL, it was Tyrell Shavers.
Yeah,
His wide receiver 3 was Brandon Cooks. Like, and then when they all got hurt, and Gabe Davis was the 4, and Gabe Davis tore his ACL, Shavers tears his ACL. So now you got Khalil Shakir as your 1, who's getting the grossest A-dot targets ever because he can't win downfield.
he's just not a good football player.
Yeah, no, he
Unfortunately.
can't
Well, I shouldn't
win
say
anywhere.
bad, but he's
He's reliable and he catches everything, but he can't win downfield. And so now Keon Coleman's your wide receiver 3, and he's horrible.
completely missed on that pick. So it's like
Yeah, and he's just horrible. And it's like,
he could
yeah, I don't
legitimately.
care who you have at running back and quarterback when your wide receivers are absolutely, positively, undoubtedly the worst core in football. I mean, it's other than the Titans. Other than the Titans, there is not a team with worse wide receivers than the Buffalo Bills right now. I don't even think it's close. It's not even close because
If
other.
I were them, go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna. You can say it's Josh Allen and James Cook this, it's Josh Allen and James Cook that, but at the end of the day, when teams don't respect your wide receivers at all, like they don't respect the Bills get loaded boxes because they're more scared of Josh Allen running the ball than throwing it because if he throws it, he doesn't have anyone to throw it to. So it's
Yeah.
like they're loading the box, and he's still got James Cook averaging 5 yards a carry, and Josh
Yeah.
Allen on his quarterback power runs just running over people. Like,
Mhm.
at some point, it's a really good scheme. It's a really good coach.
It's really good for what they are good at. You know, and it's one of those things where like if they added, you know, like a really good receiver, I don't know if it would really like change a bunch of their offense because I still think it would be predicated around, all right, we're going to try to get James Cook in open space. We're going to get him the ball as many times as we can. We're going to try to create play action looks off of that. And then, you know, then we can make these, you know, we can get back to a more pass centric offense if we get a guy, but it's still going to be on the totem pole. It's going to be Josh Allen, his legs, James Cook. And I should say like, should just say Josh Allen, but then James Cook, and then the receiving core. If I were them, I would cut literally everyone not named Tyrell Shavers and Khalil Shakir. Just completely restart. Just
Yeah,
start
and
I'd cut
they-
Keon Coleman. I wouldn't think twice about it. I understand.
He's bad.
I understand you have like, what would it be, like $4 million on your books or whatever for
I
a
don't
second
care.
round? I don't care. I'd
He's
cut
bad.
him. He's bad.
Yeah,
He's
get
a
rid
terrible
of him.
player.
I'd rather bring Brandon Cooks back than Keon Coleman.
I would too. Wouldn't even think twice either. I would sign like the lowest of like I would bring in like a Juju Smith-Schuster over keeping Keon
I mean,
Coleman.
it's the same player, but
At
Juju
least
blocks.
Juju Smith-Schuster can block. Yeah, that's it. He would help. And I kind of like talking myself into what they should do is they should sign like a really good receiving threat. Like they probably should be the Alec Pierce team if they could find the money.
Oh, Alec Pierce
And
would be
then-
awesome.
And then just sign a bunch of guys who like are really good at blocking, like just really good blockers. You know, because you're gonna be running along the edges, you're gonna be running slip screens, you're gonna be running RPOs, like whatever makes James Cook's life along the sidelines, you know, outside the numbers easier. Do that.
Do that. No, I agree with you 100%. And
Is there anybody else you want to talk about? I don't. This we have this giant. Oh, I got one more question, then we can get off. Do you think Sean McDermott gets a head coaching job this cycle?
I don't think he should.
I don't think he should either. I don't think he should either. I think he'll be like Tomlin, and I think he'll get one next cycle.
Yeah, I think he'll get one next year.
Go be
I
like,
don't.
go be a DC somewhere. Go be like a defensive analyst somewhere. Like, kind of revitalize your just your stature, your status around the league. I
Yeah,
guess, like,
yeah,
and it's also telling like the way he ended, his presser after losing. Instead of taking responsibility, being accountable, he cried and blamed every other outside factor, and then he gets fired. I don't think that's a coincidence. Like, guy who can never get over the hump. Yeah, it was time, man. It just was. It was
yeah.
time, and you had the guy like, if you kept Sean McDermott for another year, you could say goodbye to Joe Brady. He's gone.
Yep,
He's not staying.
exactly.
So you had to make the move. I get it. I kind of think Brandon Bean should have been fired with him, but I'm not.
He should have.
It's whatever. Like, I think Brandon Bean's pretty awful at his
Horrible.
job. I think he's one of the worst general managers in football that has a generational quarterback.
But hey,
So,
hey, he got promoted instead.
he did. He is president of football operations now. So
Yeah, that's not
he'll
right.
he'll literally oversee everything, dude. I can't see how that would go wrong in any conceivable universe.
That's
So,
unbelievable. That might just have to be how we close
dude,
this episode out. That's wow.
I literally texted Jaden. I was like, I cannot believe they kept Brandon Bean over, or I can't believe they kept Brandon Bean and did after firing McDermott. 5 minutes later, Brandon Bean has been promoted to president of football operations. Like,
Unreal.
what the hell, dude? But if you don't got anything else, I think we could wrap it up. I think we addressed everything we needed to today on the
I agree.
coaching carousel aspect. And this is fluid, so like, a month from now when the Super Bowl is over, all of these jobs will be filled. So
Mhm.
then we could do a more, I think then we could do like team report cards for every single hire. I know we kind of discussed it. Real quick before we leave, give me a grade for Robert Saleh and Stefanski, and then we can get out of here.
Sala, I'm gonna go with a A minus. Stefanski, I'm gonna go with an A.
I think I agree. I think I'd give Saleh B plus, Stefanski A. That's kind of what I would do.
Yeah, fair
Good
enough.
hires, great hires.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Ball and Blitz podcast. As always, let us know what you want to hear. And I don't got anything else, man. Do you?
I'm all out.
All right, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one.